Welcome to Wild and Finally Fucking Free, hosted by me, soul-fueled storyteller Kylie Patchett. We dive into the truth-talking, unedited stories of metamorphosis, growth, and evolution. I deeply believe that sharing our stories holds transformative magic. Join us to listen to future humans, change agents, extraordinary ordinary people, healers, and paradigm shifters as we honor the power of our messy, magical stories. Let's get wild and finally fucking free together. Hello there, beautiful human. We are taking a break between season 3 of the Wild and Finally Fucking Free podcast and season 4. I love to take a little bit of time out in the wintertime and do a bit of hibernating. So whilst I go off and do that, and particularly today when it is sub-zero in my office, I have recorded 6 snack-size episodes all about some of the conversations that I'm having regularly with marketing and messaging clients. And I specifically work with the healers, the helpers, the people that want to contribute a massive difference to the world. They're very heart driven. And these are the conversations that I continue to have with them. So I'm calling this the Winter Storytelling Series, and there is 6 parts. You're about to listen to one of them. They're all 5 to 8 minutes long, so very snack sized. And then my heartfelt invitation to you is that if you are sick of trying to share your message in a way that feels out of alignment, or you're trying to find the right words to capture something that is quite nebulous, like if you're an energy worker or an acupuncturist or something like that, I have made something for you. It is called Storytelling 101, and it is about how to capture the magic of who you are as a human, who you are as a healer and a helper through the power of storytelling. So I've broken down all of the key bits that you need to know about storytelling and the difference between that and more formulaic head-based copywriting, but also to help you share yourself and be completely seen and heard in amongst all the other noise out there, but in a way that doesn't feel like you're out of alignment with your values and your desire to contribute. You can head to download your free version of the free Storytelling 101 guide at www.kpcreative.com.au/storytelling 101. And that is also in the show notes. So let's dive in to one of the 6 snacks. Hello there, welcome to part 5 of the Winter Storytelling series. So this is 6 snack bite-size episodes about conversations that I have with my marketing and messaging clients who happen to also be heart-driven healers and helpers. So this episode is called I Want to Be a Thought Leader, But. So here's the thing. In my experience, a lot of us that are driven to deliver big messages to the world will often come to that point through a challenge or something that they've transformed or something that they've lived through and figured out how to survive or thrive through. And I would also say that there's a well-known fact in mindset, like when I was doing a lot of mindset coaching, that often our voids, so our perceived voids, which is the things that we perceive that we missed out on, particularly in our formative years under 7, will often drive the values that we have. And so, for example, as a void, I did not feel particularly safe to be myself or seen or heard as a kid. And so guess what? My business passion and my gift to the world is to help people like you listening to actually be seen and heard and be able to capture their message and amplify it, simplify it and amplify it out into the world so that they can create the maximum ripple effect that they want. So you see that the void that I experience has also driven a value and also a gift, I think is what I want to say. And so what happens though if you have something that you want to actually deliver to the world? And this happened with a client of mine. I don't want to talk about the specific area of coaching she's in, because I want to make sure that I'm protecting her identity. So I'm going to think about it in a broad brushstroke terms. Let's try, this is not to do with this client, but it's another example or analogy that I could use. So let's say that your experience is that, let's actually use diet culture clusterfuckery, because that's also part of my story. So just say you have gone through disordered eating or something that feels like an unhealthy pattern around food and body image and self-image, I guess, like the identity piece. And you have unfolded through that journey. You've gone through the process of, I don't want to say healing, because I don't think that, healing is such a finite word, but you've processed, you've learnt, you've been able to break patterns of disordered eating, and you're called to deliver this gift to the world, which is sharing with other women about, say, intuitive eating or something that would help to really break the pattern of the disordered eating. But what happens if there is also a part of you that actually created the pattern of disordered eating that is feeling very unsafe being seen? So there's something about being seen that feels triggering. It feels uncomfortable. It feels unsafe. It feels like, even though the desire is there to contribute to the world through this message, the fear is far more strong and far more present. And so I could stand here and say to you, deliver the message, deliver the message, deliver the message. And indeed, that is actually one of the things I said in part 1 of this series. However, there's also the part that is that your system, and if I talk about this in internal family systems way of seeing things, and if you're not familiar with internal family systems, it's just a way of seeing the different parts of us that have different needs and different wants and different desires that all work in a family system, just like normal families do, multiple people families. And there might be a part that wants to deliver this gift to the world. That might be your authentic self, the center, the actual real self. But there's this small part of you that learnt as a kid it was not safe to be seen, heard, speak up. And so your system feels incredibly triggered and unsafe. So when you think about writing messaging that shows or shares parts of your own story, or even just your message without the story underneath it, there might be a part of you that's like, this is not safe. And often in clients that will show up as doing lots of busy work, lots of procrastination, trying to find, in inverted commas, the right words to use, looking externally at different marketing systems, different everything. And in fact, no matter what you put over the surface, what is actually going on is that there is an ingrained belief system and fear in a part of the system that will not let you share. So if, as I'm speaking, this is feeling like truth in your body, and you'll know that somatically, I shared this in the last episode as well. I really love 2 different tools, and I'll share 2 different apps that I use for this. Because here's the thing, business is like, don't be in business if you don't want to have go on a self-development journey, put it that way. Because growing a business is by definition going to rub up against lots of different parts of you that might not feel seen. Not feel safe feeling seen, or maybe you've got a fear of success or a fear of failure or whatever. So the 2 tools I want to share with you is the Grace Hypnotherapy app that I shared in the last episode, and I will actually check on my phone. Yes, it is actually called Grace Hypnotherapy. It's by Grace Smith. I've found that to be an amazing tool over the last couple of months. And then the second thing is the tool of tapping. And if you don't know what tapping is, it's emotional freedom technique, or EFT. And I actually use, shout out to my coach, Sarah Thompson, the beautiful Sarah. I had a VIP day with her not too long ago, and I heard myself saying so many times all this mindset stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I thought that I dealt with this. Anyway, Sarah said, I think it's time to actually just include as part of your self-care that you are committed to either hypnotherapy or tapping or some sort of mindset clearing technique every day. And I've been doing that ever since, and it's made a massive difference. So if you're new to tapping or you like tapping but you resist it, which is where I was, like I'm a qualified tapping coach, but I was not using it as a tool myself. I'm also a qualified many different things coach, and I was resisting because my system, my little wounded parts, were feeling very triggered about some things that I wanted to do in my business. So the second tool is the Tapping Solutions app, and I will grab those and put those both in the show notes so that you can use them. And of course, there's always going to be a place for, one-on-one coaching with someone. If you're feeling very triggered, I actually really love any sort of somatic work. So EFT is an example of somatic work. Even dance. There's lots of different somatic coaches. So please, if you're noticing that you're falling into patterns where you're self-sabotaging through like procrastination or whatever, instead of kind of getting cranky with the part of you that won't share or won't whatever, actually look under the surface and ask those parts of you, what are they actually afraid of? And if you need some support working through belief systems, go and look for a somatic coach or a tapping coach or an IFS person, whatever modality speaks to you, and get some help. Because I will still say that your gift, your desire to deliver your gift is there, and it's there for a reason. And it's also not unexpected that some of the parts of us that feel uncomfortable being seen or heard, or they're scared of success or failure or whatever, are also going to be showing up, pushing in the other direction. So rather than getting stroppy with yourself like I used to, like, for God's sake, why can I not just take action on this? Start tending to the parts of yourself that don't feel comfortable being seen, because we do need your gifts. And the fact that you have a desire to share them means that you also have the resources to be able to, but it just might be covered up with a bit of dirt on the windshield at the moment. And go gently, go gently, go gently. And please get support if you feel that you need to get support. Very, very important. And I will be back next week for part 6. Thanks for tuning in to Wild and Finally Fucking Free. I'm Kylie, your host. And given that I know you would have enjoyed this episode, please do us a favor and subscribe, leave a review, and share it with fellow freedom seekers. Remember, being seen in all our mess and magic helps heal ourselves and the world, because the world needs more wild and finally fucking free humans. Have a great day.